Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to PTV Heat. I'm your host, Cooper Tennant. I'm here with Heaven Hill, and today we will be discussing our predictions for All Out. All Out is seen by some as AEW's WrestleMania, and looking at the card, I can see why. Heaven, how are you feeling heading into this Sunday's show?
Cooper, I'm feeling fantastic. This show is absolutely stacked from top to bottom. There's a ton of great matches, and of course, CM Punk's in-ring return, first time since we were in high school. So this is pretty surreal.
So we're just going to jump on into it. First match on the show, moved from the pre-show to the main card, rightfully so, I might say, is the 21-woman Casino Battle Royale, and the winner of this gets a future title shot. So I haven't told you about this, but we're going to see how this works. I think we're going to put up 2 prediction points for this.
Okay.
You get a point if you guess who the mystery entrant is. And you also get a point if you guess who wins. So me personally, I think Ruby Soho, the former Ruby Riott, is going to be the mystery entrant. And I think the winner is probably going to be Anna Jay of the Dark Order, because she just recently returned from injury on, I believe it was Rampage yesterday, or Dynamite earlier in the week. Either way, seems like there's a lot of momentum behind her, especially because she just came back. So I think Anna Jay is going to end up winning. I don't think she's going to beat Britt Baker for the title, but I think it'll be a really good match. But yeah, no, I'd love to see Ruby Soho enter into this competition.
Yeah, I feel like when we're looking at, I guess, who's going to be the surprise entrant, there's only so many, big names you can think of. And Ruby Soho, I feel like she's kind of clear. Like, I was thinking, like, Tessa Blanchard, but, like, who wants to see – nah, I almost said who wants to see her. But on a serious note, like, the work that Ruby's been doing on social media since her release from WWE has been just phenomenal. Like, the promo work and everything, just creating the character and, like, her music. Like, just I've always loved her, and I think she's so eccentric and unique. And I think she's going to add a breath of fresh air to the women's division, and hopefully they give them more time. But if we're looking at a winner, I'm going to go Jade Cargill. This may backfire because the competitors may see her as this dominant force, and they might, team up to throw her out, that sort of thing.
Just happened before.
Just to make her look strong and make sense. But, like, every singles match she's been in, she's absolutely dominated. And I think, obviously they're building her up to look credible. And, Anna Jay, she just came back after 6 months. Like, she's a viable option too. Jade Cargill just entered the top 5 women's rankings. So, I don't know if they want someone from that top 5 to win, since they're already seen as credible challengers. Maybe they want someone to come out of left field like Ruby Soho. But I think if we're looking at, potential winner, I'm going to go Jade Cargill. I feel like Thunder Rosa, I feel like they might want to hold off on that one just a little bit. And, Kris Statlander, she's obviously already number 1 on the rankings. Taynara Conti, like, I don't see them go on that route. Same with Hikaru Shida. So, I think Jade Cargill is my pick to win. But yeah, the surprise entrant, I feel like all signs point to Ruby Soho.
Yeah, I agree. I honestly, like, I was looking at Jade Cargill and I was looking at Thunder Rosa, and I do think that because Britt and Thunder Rosa have such a history, they're gonna want to hold that off and build it as like a natural feud, not just a winner of a battle royale.
Yeah.
I definitely see Jade Cargill as someone who could win, because she has a lot of momentum behind her. She is a fantastic wrestler in general. Like, her look is like is so insane.
Amazing. She's something else.
Yeah. I do think whoever wins this, I'm very excited to see. I don't think whoever wins this will beat Britt Baker personally, but I think the match is going to be really good. So moving on to the AEW in-ring debut of the former Big Show, we have Paul Wight versus QT Marshall. Now, I feel kind of bad for QT Marshall because I do like him, but he's been booked so poorly in his own favor. Like, he he kind of went from being, oh, it's Cody's friend, to turning on Cody and creating the factory, which is just kind of like really cool idea, but since then he's lost to everyone that he's wrestled, including Cody, like 3 times.
Yeah.
So I feel kind of bad for him. I'm happy that he's getting an all out, cart match, against the Big Show. I don't think QT Marshall's going to win. I'd like to see him win because he's like a younger talent, and AEW normally tends to lean towards newer talent. But I mean, this kind of feels like the writing's on the wall, not picking Paul Wight is kind of like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And like, I kind of share the same sentiment, because it's like, when QT, initially started, he was, like you said, he was just seen as Cody's friend, and, he was just a backup, just a side character. And now he's doing his own thing. And like you said, it's like every time he seems to get some sort of momentum, the booking is just against his favor. And it's so clear and obvious that, Paul Wight is going to overcome interference on Sunday, and he's going to, choke slam QT for a win. And everyone's going to, feel bubbly inside, like, oh, he did it. He overcame me out. But like, at the end of the day, it's a 50-year-old man wrestling his first match since July of 2020.
Yeah.
It gets to and it's like, and we'll discuss this later when it comes to CM Punk, but it's like Paul Wight isn't CM Punk. Very clearly not. Like, they're not on the same level, so he doesn't need this win. And we'll, like I said, we'll get into that later. Like, I feel like QT Marshall should very clearly win this if they want him to remain a credible option. So since you're picking Paul Wight, and even though I think it's very clear and obvious that Paul Wight is going to win, I'm gonna predict that QT Marshall wins. So that we have just so our picks differ a little bit more, because
interesting.
The first episode we were agreeing too much, and it came down to the fine print. It came down to asterisks and technicalities.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with QT Marshall.
That's not a bad pick, because AEW does have a pretty solid track record of not just letting older talent, like legends, quote unquote, win and bury newer talent. So I'd say the odds of that of QT Marshall winning are pretty high, but I think we might differ on a later pick. I'm gonna be honest with you. We might differ.
Okay.
We'll get to that when we get to it. But moving on, the next match is Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima, who's a wrestler from New Japan. I mean, I think Moxley's probably going to win. He's been wrestling a couple of wrestlers from New Japan recently, kind of older, like grizzled vets. I think it's been a pretty fun run. He's had some really, really good matches. Plus, I mean, like these guys from New Japan, like they don't work the same schedule that most, American wrestlers do. So they can still go like they're 20 when they're like 60. I mean, like Jushin Thunder Liger just retired, last year, and he was like, mid 60s, and he was wrestling, he was doing flips and stuff, like you can't do that if you're like the Big Show, like Sting isn't going to do a flip or whatever. But I mean, I think Moxley's going to win. I think it'll probably be pretty good, and I'm happy that AEW is giving I mean, there's probably a lot of overlap between AEW fans and New Japan fans, more so than WWE and New Japan, but I'm happy that AEW is kind of giving an American spotlight for a lot of these older Japanese wrestlers. And I think New Japan's probably pretty happy about it too, because they seem to really be wanting to move more into the United States market. But I'm picking Moxley for this.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I saw, like, one of the things you asked on the rundown was how I felt about New Japan's relationship with AEW. I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan, and it's definitely exciting. And it calls back to when New Japan tried, when they, tried to get into the American market with TNA, like in the late 2000s. And I remember they had, what was it, like, they had Okada as like, what was his name? Like Okado?
I think so, yeah.
He was like a ripoff of Kato from the Green Hornet. It was the dumbest thing. And like that whole relationship just fell apart. And so it cost us a lot of like really potentially good moments. So now for New Japan to try and rebuild that relationship with AEW and getting one of their stars on AEW's biggest card of the year, I think that's awesome for the relationship, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. But I mean, like you said, the prediction for this one, we won't differ. Mox is a megastar in every sense of the word, and I think he's going to win this pretty handily. But I'm excited to watch Kojima in this one. Like he's 50 years old, but like you said, he's not Paul Wight 50 years old. Like he can go. So this might be an underrated contender for match of the night.
I agree. Moving on to something that I think a lot of people will see as match of the night. There's a lot of story behind this one. We got Chris Jericho versus MJF. And the stipulation here is if Jericho loses, he has to retire from in-ring competition.
Yeah.
Now, last Wednesday on Dynamite, they had Jericho and Jim Ross in the ring, and they did an interview with Jericho where he made it pretty clear that like he was serious about retiring if he loses. I mean, obviously, like it's a book or whatever, it's all booked.
Yeah.
But the way that he like spoke about his career and like how it started for him, like his first big gig was in Chicago, and he's saying that his last big gig is going to be in Chicago. Like it really did feel like this is like kind of the swan song, because he's talked about in the past, like he wants his last match to just be like, he doesn't want to build up, he doesn't want a big showcase about it, he just wants it to happen and then he can walk away. So I am very conflicted about this match, which I kind of like, because normally, like, I mean, WWE with John Cena and Roman Reigns, they just did a match where if Roman lost, he was going to have to leave WWE, and like, obviously Roman's not going to lose, like that's not going to happen. But like with this, it feels like it should be obvious that Chris is going to win, because MJF has won the last couple matches and Chris needs a win. And also it's a retirement match, so who knows? But like there's a little inkling in my head that's telling me that MJF might win, and this might actually be Chris Jericho's last match. But I'm going to go with Chris Jericho just because, one, I feel like there's a lot left for him to do. And two, I'm going to Dynamite in like 2 weeks, and I want to see Chris Jericho wrestle. So I'm holding out hope for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna pick Jericho as well. And it's like, man, I'm really excited to see this, and I'm torn too. Like I'm honestly terrified at the thought of him retiring, because he's been wrestling for longer than I've been alive.
Like 31 years, I think.
Yeah, like every moment I can think of, or every, he's interwoven in the history of pro wrestling. You can't talk about it without mentioning him and the work he's done, from continent to continent. And it's like this story between the two of them is just so, it's just been so great. Like everything, every match they've had, the 5 labors between, like that was just insane. Like the callbacks to Jericho's history and the different stipulations, like every week it was like it was just so cool. So now that we've reached this point, I man, it's like I said, it's crushing to think that Sunday could be the last time we see him in a ring as a competitor. And like, it's very believable. Like you said, he's teased it several times, and he's already shifted to the commentary booth, more often than not. Like it's I'm so scared to be completely honest with you. I don't know what to do if he loses, but I think, like you said, I feel like Jericho needs to win now, just to remain being seen as a credible threat. Like this run that he's been on has just been phenomenal. Like the fans are behind him, the people are behind him, and everybody wants to see MJF get his comeuppance.
Yeah.
And like it's been weeks, months now. Like he's in Kris's head, like the labors, like I said, like he's been doing amazing character work, and I'm so happy for him. But he doesn't need another win. He doesn't like he's because like if Jericho wins Sunday, like that's not damaging to MJF in any way. They're both going to be fine regardless of the result. But there's one we want to see win way more than the other. Because like you said, there's just so much more for him to do. It's like if Jericho retires, like there's just so many potential big matches left on the table. And it's not like he's lost a step. Like he can still go. He can still wrestle. I don't want to see him leave and then have to just say what if when it comes to everything else. Like no, I need him to go just for at least a few more years because there's so much potential still there left. So I'm picking Jericho, and we'll see if we're right on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm also picking Jericho. I think it's kind of a testament to AEW to make a match with this stipulation, which is normally obvious, like, oh, they're going to win because they're not going to retire. Like, to make it this kind of up in the air.
Yeah.
Like
the last time I don't want to cut you off. Last time I can remember this or something of this magnitude was Shawn and Taker. I think that was WrestleMania 26. And it was like, I was like, oh, he's not gonna lose.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know anything about anything. So now here we are, and I don't want to see Kris lose. I really don't. So we'll see.
Yeah, and if MJF wins, that is going to be some like insane like heel heat. Like he's going to come out with a mic on Wednesday and it's going to be like, I just retired Kris Jericho, and the crowd is going to destroy him.
And part of me wants to see that. Part of me wants to see that because I know. Because remember when Roman Reigns beat Undertaker? I know we're getting sidetracked, and he stood in that ring, and it seemed like forever, and it was just raucous boos, and then he just said one line, then just left, like, and it was insane. It was marvelous. So crazy. So I'm imagining that Wednesday, the fallout after All In, and it's like the arena might implode. So we'll see, man. Right. We'll see.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. I'm excited either way. But next up we have the TNT title match, Miro versus Eddie Kingston. Miro kind of started off a little rocky in AEW with I remember his name. He was the best man. How do I not remember his name? He's injured right now, so he's not on TV.
Oh, it was Kip Sabian.
Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford. That's what it was. Yeah. I didn't dislike his character. It just felt like Miro, or formerly Rusev, I guess, is such a powerhouse. It didn't feel like he was being wasted because he's good at like kind of the comedy stuff, But it felt like there was so much more that he could have done. And now that he beat Darby Allin, surprisingly, and he's now the TNT champion. This Sunday he's taking on Eddie Kingston, who is another big man. I think this match is going to be rough. They're going to throw each other around a little bit, but I think Miro's going to win. I mean, I could see them going with Eddie, because Eddie has a lot of momentum behind him, and him and Moxley have kind of just been having singles matches or tag matches, not really anywhere near any of the titles, which they don't really need. I don't feel like they need titles. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna pick Eddie Kingston.
Wow.
Because normally WWE with belts, they'll kind of throw it around back and forth for a little bit, and we haven't really seen that happen in AEW yet.
Yeah.
I think they might hand the belt to Eddie Kingston, have him wear it a little bit, and then Miro will take it back at some point. Because I don't want to see Miro's reign end. I don't want to see him lose. But if they do it where Eddie gets it and then gives it back after a little bit, I think I'd like that a lot.
That's interesting.
I might have just signed like my man with this pick and then a pick later on. I think I might have just lost, but we'll see.
Hey, you know what? I'm glad you know, because I'm picking Miro 110%. I mean, like, Eddie's cool. He's really great, right? Like, I love him and his character and what he adds. And he said a line recently. He said, "Redeemer, my man." He said, "Redeem these
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like,
Oh my God.
I laughed at the stupidity of it, and I was like,
Yeah.
just only Eddie could deliver that, and not have it sound ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a huge fan of them both. I'm so appreciative of AEW, excuse me, that they've given Eddie this platform that
Mm-hmm.
he's worked so hard for. So I don't think they're gonna do a title change. I think Miro at this point is just too dominant to the point where he should drop it right now, at least. Like, I feel like they have big plans for him. And also, Eddie doesn't need a title to be seen as credible, like you said. Like him, like he's already one of the bigger guys just because of his character and what he brings to the table. So I don't think he needs it. Whereas Miro, you know, with the title, he's been producing his best work, and I love his character, and I can take him seriously, but he can, be over the top as well. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited for the match, and it's gonna be a slobber knocker, and I think Miro is going to walk away with the win, but I think championship gold is in Eddie's future. I just don't know when, but like these losses in these title matches is only going to make the eventual win that much sweeter.
And you're probably right. Miro will probably end up winning just for the sake of choice, and also I do truly want Eddie to win.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick with Eddie Kingston on this one. I think.
Okay.
We'll see how that works out for me. But next up, a match I don't think we're gonna defer on. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, the champion, versus Kris Statlander for the AEW Women's Championship. I like that Kris has kind of been given a bit of a boost recently. I think her fitting into the best friends has been really, really nice. I don't think she's going to win, but I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. There will probably be moments in the match where we'll be like, oh, Kris is going to win. Like, surprisingly enough, Kris is going to win. And then, near fall after near fall. I kind of hope she doesn't make, I kind of hope Britt Baker doesn't make Kris Statlander tap because, I mean, she uses the lockjaw, which is an insanely cool submission, especially considering she's a dentist. I'd like to see a clean pin personally, I want to see Kris leave this match looking stronger than she did going into it, even if she loses. But there's so much that Britt Baker could still do, I mean, another feud with Thunder Rosa, Ruby Soho potentially, Jade Cargill, like you said, like, I mean, there's so much that she can do. So I'm gonna go with Britt Baker because I want to keep seeing her title reign.
Yeah, same here. I agree. I think Britt's gonna walk away with the win over Kris. But credit to Kris Statlander, like coming back after tearing her ACL. Obviously with an injury as significant as that, you want to give the person a little bit to adjust or to warm up. And like, I think she came back, what was it, in March? Since then, she's looked phenomenal. And she's like a really credible challenger. And I think she could be champion down the line. But
for sure,
I think as of right now, like she's kind of up against a pretty rough opponent in Britt. Like Britt is a huge star. I mean, you can make the argument she is the first star that women's division has developed. She didn't come from, somewhere else where she was already huge. Like, she grinded and worked and developed the character, and now she's seen as the top dog in that women's division. So, like you said, I mean, there's so much more I want to see from her. And I think this match is going to surprise a lot of people. And like you said, I mean, Kris doesn't need the win right now, but she does need to come out looking, pretty strong. So, like you said, she can't tap out, it can't be a squash. Like it has to be, at least pretty decent. So we'll see. I'm excited. I think this is gonna bang. And I've got Britt walking in with the win here.
Moving on from there, another match of the night, possibly contender. We have the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers. Young Bucks being the champions for the AEW Tag Team Championships, and it's a steel cage match. So I'll let you go first on this one.
You know what, man? I'm okay, right? Like, okay, So I'm gonna pick the Lucha Brothers to win.
Wow.
I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna swing for the fences. You know, this might be unexpected, but just like, okay. I feel like to have your biggest, like you said, this is seen as the WrestleMania, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. You can't have a bunch of title matches on a card and then have none of the titles switch hands. Mm-hmm. I don't see, I mean, spoiler, but I don't see Omega losing. I don't see Britt losing. I don't see Miro losing. Somebody got to lose. Mm-hmm. Somebody has to lose. And I feel like the most obvious viable candidate is it's the Young Bucks. And they're great. Like, this match is going to be awesome. Like, they're phenomenal in ring, and they're like, you love to hate them. But it's like Penta and Phoenix, man, they are elite. So, mm-hmm. Well, I mean, not elite, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean, yeah.
And it's like this match is going to be insane. And like I said earlier, like the Bucks, they don't need the titles. Like, they don't need them. It's cool that they have them, but it's like they're not really adding anything to it because they're already who they are. Like, they're already top dogs in the company. They're going to be near the top of the card, regardless of whether they're mm-hmm. the champions or not, just because of their standing and who they know. And, you know, also because they're extremely talented. I think Sunday is the night to do it, you know, in a cage. You know, you'd like to think there's not going to be any interference, but there's going to be interference.
Yeah, Brandon Cutler is going to run in there.
Yes. Someone's getting involved for sure. I'm excited. I know, you know, they're going to combine for, I'm thinking, 12 front flips off the cage in some variety. There's going to be a lot of flipping. There's going to be a lot of jumping, a lot of super kicks. This match, I'm going to be glued to the TV. And I think Sunday is the right time to do the job. You know, the Bucks, they've had a decent reign, but I think the Lucha Bros, you know, they're that team that can elevate the titles to the next level.
You know what? I don't agree that the Young Bucks are going to lose, but I will agree at how insanely good the Lucha Brothers are. Like, I genuinely think that the Lucha Brothers might be, at the very least, my favorite tag team, but also maybe the best tag team working right now. Mm-hmm. Mostly, I mean, I'm kind of biased because I love like Lucha Libre, like that kind of style of wrestling.
Yeah.
Like flips and stuff are fun. But I mean, I think the Young Bucks are going to win. I think that they're going to want to keep. I don't think the Young Bucks are going to lose until Kenny loses. Mm-hmm. Because then you can kind of see the Elite fall apart, which I think will be really fun. Mm-hmm. I was hoping that would have been an All Out with Hangman beating Kenny, but Hangman's going off. He's got a kid. So I don't, because like you said, you know, I don't think Kenny's going to lose against Christian. So I do agree with what you said, though, about a title having to change hands, which is now why I'm happy I decided to change my mind to have Miro lose. Because I do think a title is going to have to change hands. And
at least one.
I think, I think feasibly it'd have to be either the tag belt or the TNT championship. So, but I mean, I'm going to stick with the Young Bucks. Like you said, I cannot wait to watch this match. I mean, every match they've had in the past have been like classics. They've been bangers. Like, you know, there's not a single match that they've had that I have like loved.
Yeah.
Or like been terrified while watching, because I mean, especially in a steel cage, like I don't even want to think about what they might do. But moving on to maybe the most anticipated pro wrestling return ever, maybe. We have CM Punk versus Darby Allin. This is one that I'm gonna give to you first.
You know what? And we had a situation like this on the first episode when we were discussing Seth versus Edge and who needs to win more, and you know, regardless of the circumstances, they're both going to be bit. This I feel like, okay, my prediction is CM Punk to win. Okay, it's like, and like, yes, I understand. Like, Darby is you know, a great opponent, and he's a young star, and AEW obviously has a bunch of faith in him. Like, he was TNT champ for a decent bit, but it's like it's been 7 years. It's been 7 years, and he's one of the best on the mic, in the ring. He is potentially, well, not potentially. He's the biggest star in the company. It's like clear and obvious. He cannot lose this match. He cannot lose. He cannot lose. If he does, that's a bad look for the people involved. I don't think he agreed to come back and lose his first match in 7 years. And like with Darby, if he loses, it's not, going to hurt his reputation or his credibility at all. Because he's going up against one of the greatest to ever do it. So it's not, they aren't going to be like, oh, they buried Darby because of it. Like, no, it's the biggest star in the company returning after a 7-year absence. Like, he's a needle mover. He's a needle mover. The sales, the stocks, the ratings, they're booming. He's that guy. I'll never get that shirt. I was in that queue for ages. It's like, if Darby wins Sunday, I don't know what that'll mean. I don't know what that'll mean for well, I mean, obviously it'll be huge because Darby will have picked up a massive win, possibly one of the biggest wins in the company's history. But I don't think he should, because Punk needs it more. It's not like he's gonna squash Darby. Like, it's gonna be a phenomenal match. Darby
highly
is
competitive.
Yeah, he's a great opponent. To come back and to ease Punk into the back into the ring again. And I'm excited for the future. But yeah, I'm picking Punk to win this one all the way.
So, before hearing your reasoning for picking Punk, I had my pick in mind, and you almost convinced me to change my mind.
Oh, brother!
But you didn't. I'm gonna pick Darby Allin to win.
Okay.
I feel like Punk is someone who is talented enough to lose, but still come out on top in the end. I feel like this is more of this isn't like a big feud match. It's more of like a sports match. It's like it's a dream match in a sense, really. I think it's going to be an absolute, like you said, slobber knocker. I think it'll be a barn burner. Any other kind of metaphor I can think of. I think this match is going to kill it. But for whatever reason, like I hardly have any reasoning for this. There's just a voice in the back of my head saying like Darby's going to go over because it's Darby Allin, and he is like, I mean, when CM Punk and Darby were in the ring together, obviously CM Punk chants were the most verbal, but there were Darby chants in the background. Like the person that wrestling fans have been chanting for 7 years when he's not even in the arena, and they're being not beaten, but like you can audibly hear people chanting the other name in the air. I don't know. I feel like no matter who wins, I think it's the right choice. You can't really lose in this scenario, because if Darby loses, people aren't going to be like, oh, they buried Darby, because he's been pushed like really hard, and he deserves it too, because he's amazing. I want this to be a completely one-on-one match. I don't want any kind of interference. I don't want any shenanigans. Like I want to see CM Punk wrestle for the first time in 7 years, and not have 2.0 or Daniel Garcia come in and like screw stuff up. So I'm very into Darby Allin beating CM Punk this Sunday.
We'll see. I'm excited.
We'll see. The final match, one that I don't think we're going to defer on, Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage for the AEW Championship. Kenny Omega is, of course, the AEW World Champion. Christian beat Kenny with underhanded tactics. I think he hit him with a chair or something for the Impact World Championship, which was honestly really surprising. Like that was a shocker for me. I'm kind of happy that Kenny didn't lose all of his belts at once. I want him to kind of start losing all of his belts when Hangman comes back, and then Hangman can take the last one from him. But yeah, I think Kenny's gonna win. I think this match will be good. It's kind of weird to say, but like this match might be one of the ones I'm looking forward to the least, even though Kenny Omega is maybe one of my favorite wrestlers. I mean, I'm looking forward to this more than Paul Wight versus QT Marshall. But
of course.
But it's just it feels like we watched them wrestle, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's just not like a super enticing match for me.
Yeah.
But I don't think Kenny's gonna lose that belt until Hangman comes back to take it off of him personally.
Yeah, and I agree 100%. Like the belt collector thing was cool, and then he lost to Christian on the premiere of Rampage, and I was like man, like it was his first loss in like 700 days, or first pinfall loss in like 700 days or something. Like it was crazy, but also it maintained him as a credible threat because of how Christian won. So it was like, and then he defended against Andrade at that AAA event, and it was like he almost lost then. So it's like you can see the cracks are starting to form, and he's gonna drop the belts, at some point. But to do them all within a month or 45 days of each other, like that's a little too quickly. So I don't see Christian beating Kenny again, because the first one was just so crazy in itself. Like, and also it was like the Impact title. Like they're cool with Christian having that. Like they're cool with Kenny losing that one. But the big belt, the mainstay, like I don't see them going back to the well. So there's gonna be some near falls, but I think Kenny's gonna come out with this one. And as far as who eventually takes the belt from him, I think Page is the only option. I think they've been building towards that for ages now, and it's like I think it's well down the line. I think we could see Omega versus Punk before then. I think we could see.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
I think we could see Omega versus some other guy that might be returning tomorrow. So, I think we could see a few more title defenses before Hangman comes back and gets that belt and concludes the story. So we'll see. But yeah, I see Kenny winning tomorrow for sure.
I will say, actually, I'm glad you mentioned someone who might be showing up tomorrow. Originally, Pac was supposed to wrestle Andrade, but that match got called off because I think Pac is stuck in the UK. Andrade tweeted out that he wanted to do an open challenge at All Out.
God. Oh God. Oh God.
So do you want to guess for points who it might be?
I mean, like it's I feel like it has to be it has to be. It literally has to be Bryan Danielson. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, wait, what if what if it's Adam Cole?
Those are the only two names that I can think of that it might be.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Man. Dang. Oh my God. Well, I'm just befuddled right now. The walls are closing in. I'm in the fight of my life. I think whether it's Bryan Danielson or Adam Cole, I feel like in their debut in AEW, I feel like they have to win too. So sorry, Andrade, you're gonna be looking up at the lights Sunday, regardless of if it's either one of those two. I hate to say it, but sorry, Chavo. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's exciting, like it's very exciting.
That's gonna be crazy. If that final countdown rings off.
That's because Tony Khan is he obviously likes using copyrighted music for entrance themes
stuff. Yeah,
he would totally buy the rights to the final countdown. Like
literally, I know he would within a second.
Oh my God,
that arena is going to come unglued.
Yeah,
it's going to rise from the ground. Oh my God. Oh, I can't wait.
I mean, I think it's going to be Daniel Bryan, but Adam Cole is also like a perfectly suitable.
That would be so
it's
insane.
like it's insane, a world where like Adam Cole is the next best thing. You know what I mean? Like
just run of the mill.
Right.
Like, are you serious? Are you serious? Oh my gosh. Okay. That's gonna be madness. If either one of them debuts Sunday, that's an absolute win. If both of them debut, I think I'd pass out. It's just Man, can we skip to Sunday already?
Yeah, I just wanted. I honestly, like, I really just want it to be Sunday. Like,
Yeesh.
I don't think I've been looking forward to, and it's not even like going into this. I wasn't like, oh my god, I can't wait for All Out. Like, I was like, oh, I can't wait to see CM Punk wrestle. I can't wait to see like, Jericho wrestle. But
Yeah.
now that we've gone through each match and like talked about our predictions and what we're looking forward to, like,
There's a few
this
bangers,
show's gonna
man.
be great.
Yeah, literally, I'm looking forward to everything except except for Paul Wight. And I hate to say it, I'm so sorry.
I also hate to say it.
And I really want QT to win, not just because of my prediction, but because he literally needs it more than a 50-year-old man. But
yeah.
I mean, this is gonna be quite the show. It's not, obviously nothing is WrestleMania level, but they're treating this like the WrestleMania, and everyone's gonna show out. We're gonna see nothing but the best from every competitor tomorrow, and that excites me.
Yeah, I will say it does look to be like a WrestleMania caliber show compared to our first episode where we did SummerSlam. Our predictions here are very competitive, I would say.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I win, but we'll see. We'll see. I won SummerSlam, so I want to keep the streak going.
Oh, brother.
All Out's this Sunday, so make sure you watch. See who make some predictions of yourself. We can't be doing all the work here. But make sure you tune in to the next episode of PTV Heat. For Heaven Hill, this is Cooper Tennant. Have a great day.